All right, 2.6, draw scatter plots. And best fitting lines.
That lady we were talking about earlier, the 94 years old when she died. We were talking about the lady in English. Oh. Yeah.
Very
I don't
random.
know how old she was. Because she was born in so I pulled up my calculator. She was born in 1990. She died in 2013. I already said that, right? Yeah, I did.
Yes, you did.
All right. The first problems want us to tell if they have a positive correlation, negative correlation, or approximately no correlation. So, number 4, they give us a scatter plot. I'm not going to copy it directly, or exactly, because I'm not going to take the time to do that. But it basically looks something like that. And they want to know what kind of correlation it has. Essentially, that's talking about the slope value. Okay? So does this have a positive, negative, or if it's no, it's like scattered everywhere? So what would this one have?
Positive.
Positive.
It's going up.
And you can just write positive, but I'm just writing correlation for reference. So if it's something like this, something like that.
No correlation.
Yep, that would be a no correlation because it's not really, they're not going to make a line directly every time, but this one is just all over the place. So that one would be no correlation. All right, the next problems say to tell whether the correlation coefficient for the data is close to -1, -0.5, 0, 0.5, or 1. So that's going to be essentially how tightly packed together are our dots. It's going to be a factor. And then it's positive or negative based on if it is got a positive slope or a negative slope. So I'm going to do number 8, and then I'm going to do some other examples because there's only like 3 problems in each of these. So number 8, we've got something like this. So it's positive. They're kind of spread out, okay? They're not like tightly packed in a line, so this one would be a 0.5, okay? And we're just approximating, right? Our calculator will actually find this value for us, but for right now, with just given a graph, we just have to approximate it. So this would be a positive 0.5. How about
Okay.
something like that?
Negative.
It's going to be negative, and what number do you think it's going to be? They're pretty tightly packed together. So if they're tightly packed together, either they're in a straight line or they're like this where they're really close together, this would be a 1. Now, realistically, this is probably more like a negative 0.8, but that's not an option. Okay.
0.
The options for this are just -1, negative 0.5, 0, 0.5, or 1. But you can have any value from -1 to 1 in a normal situation. So when we start putting them in our calculator and doing scatter plots, you'll be able to see better what those values are. But if all you have is the graph to go off of, you just kind of have to wing it. This one. Yes, this one is a 0. It's all over the place. It's going to be a 0. And one more. Okay, so I'm gonna- Yep, -0.5. They're kind of spread out. All right. Now is where you're going to need your calculators. Okay? So, I'm going to try to write out your calculator instructions for you so that if you go back, you have them to look at.
Claire, yours is really fancy. Ooh, I like the purple one.
Hers will do things in color.
Oh.
All right. So, these ones, they want us to, A, draw a scatter plot. And we're just going to make it look just like it does on our calculator. So I'm just going to say from the calculator. Now, if you don't have a calculator, when you go to do this problem, well, one, you aren't going to be able to do the rest of it. But you could always just plot points, right? Scatter plots are just a bunch of points on a graph. So you could plot the points and you'd be able to do that. But as far as when I'm grading, we're going to look at what does it look like on your calculator screen, and you're just going to basically try to copy it straight off of your screen. Okay. The next thing they're going to ask you to do is to approximate the best fitting line. And there's a calculator function that's going to do that for you. And then part C, they want us to estimate y when x is equal to 20. To do that, we have to have that best fitting line from part B. And we might talk about the correlation coefficient as well, just so you could see what this would look like. You're not going to be asked that, but so you could just see what it looks like. So before we start anything, before I do the first problem, if you have a new calculator, or like if you have a sibling that's had one of my classes before or has taken stats, then this probably will already be done. But if this is like new or you've changed batteries, whatever, you may have to do it again. So you're going to turn your calculator on. And then try to focus it so it's a little clearer. All right, up here you have a button that says mode, mode. You're going to hit that. And then you're going to see all these different options pop up. So we're going to go all the way down to the second screen, and you're going to see this option here that says Stat Diagnostic. We're going to turn that on. So if it's in the off position, you'll arrow over to on and hit enter, and then that will select that. And then I don't really think it will make a difference for what we're doing, but your stat wizards can be on as well. Okay. If you're on it and you've clicked enter, it's going to be on. It's just going to be flashing on the on like mine is.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so when you're done, then hit second mode, which quits and gets you out of that. Okay, now you don't have to do that every time. That's a one-time deal. If you have to change your batteries, if you have a calculator like mine that has batteries, you may have to do it when the batteries get changed if you leave it dead for too long. For those of you that have the calculators that get charged, I don't know what happens with those, but if your correlation coefficient does not pop up with what we're going to do in a minute, then you will need to return it on. But that's typically a one-time thing. If it's not working, come see me and I can help you. All right, so this problem, they're going to give us a scatter plot. So they're giving us XY, or they're not giving us a scatter plot. They're giving us a table of XY values. So the X values are from 1 to 5. Our Y values are 10 in order, going across 22, 35, 49, and 62. All right, so the first thing that we have to do is we have to put these numbers into a list. So our L1 is going to be our X values. Our L2 is going to be our Y values. Now, they don't have to go in this order. It's just easier for the sake of doing that. Does everybody have their own calculators? Anybody borrowing one from like an upperclassman? Okay. I'm going to clear my list really quick because I have stuff in my list, and so I'm going to make my life easier so it looks like yours. Okay. All right. So on your calculator over here, you're going to see a button that says Stat. You're going to click that. So I'm going to try to write out your calculator instructions over here. You're going to hit Stat, and then you're going to see the option that says Edit. So we're going to hit Edit. Does anybody's L1 or L2 have numbers in it? Do you have a calculator from somebody? Okay. Are there a lot of numbers in it?
There's a couple.
Okay.
Where'd you see the thing? Edit.
So,
Right there. Oh! Do I click it?
all right, I'll show you with my L3 because my L3 has numbers in it. So you can, if your calculator has numbers in it, then you'll need to follow what I'm doing. So hit second quit and get out of it. If you don't have numbers, you don't need to do what I'm doing right now. Just watch. All right, so then hit Stat. And then if you go down to option 4, you can just hit the number 4 and it'll do it. It'll show clear list. So you'll click that. Then you'll hit second and then Stat, and it'll bring up all your list names. So like I have numbers in 3, so I'm going to clear list 3. And then you'll have to hit enter again, and it'll then tell you that it's done. So if you have, did you have numbers in both lists? Okay, so then you'll just need to repeat that for the other one. So hit Stat and then arrow down to clear list. And then hit second Stat and then select the list that you need to clear. And then hit enter for done. And then, yeah. Nobody else has numbers in their calculator, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to hit Stat and then Edit. And now we don't have any numbers here. So you're going to type in order. Okay, they have to go in order, 1 through 5 on the X. So I've got 1 through 5. Then I arrow to the right, and I'm going to type in these numbers in order. They've got to match up with what they go with. So 10, 22, 35, 49, and 62. And there's not a ton of numbers here, but I was always kind of go back and do a quick visual check and make sure you have the numbers correct. Because if not, it's going to throw your whole problem off. I don't know. I was just trying to, I was like, what is going on? Just going to leave that there. All right. So Stat Edit, and then we would basically type X into L1 and type Y into L2. All right. Now we're going to second quit and get out of that. Now we need to create our stat plot. Okay, so if you look above the Y, it says stat plot. So we're going to hit second. Oops, not alpha. I hit the wrong button. Hold, please. Second stat plot. Or second Y equals, which will give us stat plot. So
Wait, how do you get rid of the thing that we just...
second quit or second mode. I'm going to always say second quit, and I mean second mode, but that means to quit us. That means to quit.
Oh. Wait. Oh.
So it's the second button and the mode
It's
button,
right here.
which is to quit. Whenever you, so if you see there's, now yours may be a different color than mine, but if you look, there's a word or like symbol or something directly above the different values on your calculator. The ones that are in like, well, for me, they're like a light blue or a white. If you hit second, that value is what it's going to pick. If you hit alpha, it's going to pick like the letter, or a few of them have symbols that go with it, but most of the alphas are letters or like theta or something. Okay, so second, and then I'm going to always say quit because that's the way it was just ingrained in me, but second mode is quit. So if you hear me say that, that's what I mean. All right, so to get to where I am now, I'm going to hit second and then the Y equals button, which is stat plot. So let me write that down. So second, Y equals, which is for stat plot. All right. Do all of these say off? Now, there is another option. Option 5 says plots on. Don't look at that. Our plots 1 through 3 listed as off on your calculators. If one of them's on, it's fine. But if they're all on, we need to turn them off. We're good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So on this first one, we're going to click enter. So we're going to look at plot 1. And we're going to turn it on. So I hit enter on. Now, you're going to see type. These are all of our different types of plots that if you end up taking stats class, AP Stats, you'll end up using all of them. But the one I need is the one that looks like dots that are randomly scattered, which is my first option. So I need to click that one. And you'll have to hit enter. So it's the one that looks like this. And then over here, does your calculator already say L1 and L2?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, if it were to not say L1 and L2, or if you put the numbers in the wrong thing and you needed to change it, we would hit second stat, which brings up a list of all of my list names, okay? And then I would select the one that I need for it to be there, okay? But it should auto, because you're not doing anything else with stats at this point, you shouldn't have to worry about this. If your calculator's already set this way, it should stay set this way. So L1, L2, and then I usually choose like the bigger dot because this other little thing is really hard to see, but that's up to you. Those of you that have the newer fancy calculators, you'll be able to like choose your color and your shape and all the fun stuff. All right, everybody's here. We're good. Okay. So now, let me do this. X list is L1.
This is a lot to remember in this calculator.
L2. You'll get so like used to it though that like you won't even have to think about it. But that's why I'm writing all the steps down right now, because that way you'll have them when you go to do it. And obviously, as we do more problems, we're going to do more. So this isn't a long section, but it's going to feel really long because we're going to keep doing problems. Like, we'll probably be into this till tomorrow. All right. So now, we're going to hit zoom. So that's this middle button at the top. And then we're going to arrow down, or you can click the number. So zoom stat is what we need to be able to graph a scatter plot. So this would be for, it's option 9, zoom stat. So if you click the number 9 on your calculator, it will automatically do zoom stat for you. When we normally graph anything else on our calculator, pretty much with the exception of trig functions, we would use zoom standard. So for anything statistically related, so if you take stats class, you'll always hit zoom 9, which is zoom stat. So hit that. I need to hold on. All right. Does anybody have a random curve or line going through their graph? Okay, then just disregard what I'm doing. Okay. If you have anything in your y equals, it's going to do that. So what I would want you to do as part 1 of this question, okay, is to copy this over. So these look like they're pretty linear, right? Okay. So your graph, do this over here.
Yeah, this is all one problem.
Well, it normally will go a lot faster than that. Like, I would have been done with this problem 5 minutes ago if I was just doing it. Like, once you get used to it, like, it will go quick. All right, so part A is the graph. So you're just going to literally, on my calculator, it looks like I've got basically just 5 dots in a line. Stop, looks like it's out of place. There. So this is what it looks like on my screen. You don't need to put labels on it if you're just copying it off your calculator screen. All right, part B, this is another calculator part, is approximate the best fitting line. This part you can't do without a calculator. Well, in general, you can't do this without a calculator. All right. So this is going to give you an equation written in the form of y equals mx plus b. Okay? But we have to use our calculator to find that. So this is just how to create our scatter plot. I'm going to start over here in another color with the instructions for this part. All right. Okay. So you're going to hit stat again. And then we're going to arrow to the right for calc. So you're going to hit stat and then arrow for calc. Then you're going to see an option down here that says AX plus B. It says len reg, so it's option 4. So we're going to do 4, which is len reg. And I say this one because there's another form of this line written in B plus AX. It'll give you the same answer. I don't know why it's written twice, but we're using this option. And so it's going to give it to you at AX plus B. So hit 4. And then it's going to ask you for an X list and a Y list. Okay, so X list is L1. Y list is L2. Everybody's already say L1 and L2. Okay. Frequency list gets left blank. Just stays blank. We don't put anything there. And then you're going to see what says store reg EQ. Okay, that means my regression equation, which is the best fit line. Okay, that's what this means. Okay, it's going to store it for us, but we need to tell it where to store it. Okay, so what you're going to do now is I want to store it in a y equal so that I can find it, and so it'll actually graph it for me on my graph. So what we're going to do is you're going to hit alpha and trace, I think. Hold on. Yes, I did it right. Okay, alpha trace. So alpha trace is going to bring up your options for y equals. I would just put y1, which is the one that's already going to be selected, hit enter. So I have L1, L2, a blank, and then y1. Is everybody with me? If you have a really old calculator, some of this may have to be different. So hopefully everybody's up to where we are right now. All right.
Went back to the graph.
Huh?
Mine went back to the graph.
Did you hit graph?
No.
You probably just hit trace without hitting alpha trace.
Oh, oopsies.
So if you hit alpha trace, it'll do, yeah.
Oh.
All right, so then arrow down to calculate, and we're going to hit that, and it's going to calculate for you. All right, so it tells you then on your screen, it shows you a y equals ax plus b. It gives you an a value. It gives you a b value. And then it gives you an r squared and an r. Okay? R is our correlation coefficient. So this one is almost 1. This is 0.9996. So it's basically 1. Okay? Now, that's not what it's asking for. I'm just telling you that's what that's for. So down here, this is, in this case, 13.1 and negative 3.7. So when it asks you for your equation of your line, you need to write it as y equals ax plus b, but like with the numbers plugged in. So my answer to part B is going to be y equals 13.1 x plus, or I mean, it's minus, negative minus 3.7, because this is a negative number.
But it's gonna have to.
All right, are we tracking to this point?
I think
We're
so.
okay?
Yes, I'm writing everything down. Because
And you'll get a calculator before the quiz.
yes,
Or borrow one.
I will. I'm planning on actually getting one as soon as I leave school today.
All right, part C, I'm going to go back over here since this is taking up an excessive amount of space. This is the part where it says estimate y when x equals 20.
Might take an hour on one problem.
That's why I said we'll probably go into tomorrow. I usually spend 2 days on this lesson because it
The
just,
first one is just explaining how to do everything.
yeah. So, we're going to take this 20 and we're going to put it into this equation. And you have your calculator, so you don't have to be like, there's decimals. Because that's what people usually tell me. So y equals 13.1 times 20 minus 3.7. So I get y is 258.3.
Wait, so we can clear all the
And then I'm guessing we plug that into
other numbers
y and we find
to get to do that.
Huh?
Like what?
Oh yeah.
What are you
When we do
asking?
the C thing with
I just plugged in 20 to this equation.
Not okay. Yeah.
Are we done with the problem now?
Yes.
Yes.
One problem down. I won't write out all of those steps every time, which is what's taking the longest at the moment. That's just one time write it down. After that, I'll still put my calculator up and show you, but
So now we're just yes.
all right. Now, if you went back to your graph, you would see the line is graphed now through your dots. That doesn't mean you're supposed to connect your dots. Okay, a scatter plot is not a line. The line that is on my graph is my best fit line. And the only reason I'm really storing it for the sake of y'all right now is if you accidentally hit clear and you can't find your values like before you wrote them down, if you hit y equals, my equation of my line is in y equals.
Oh.
Or if you're like, I don't understand how to put a and b into the equation that they gave me, then you can also go here and it has the equation written for you. Nice and easy.
This piece of paper.
Wait, where do you find this part? How do you find that part?
Just y equals at the top.
Whoa.
All right. Second problem. We get out of here at 46, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
This is not having
14.
mine turned off.
All right.
All my homework is gone.
X, Y. X values are 5.6, 6.2, 7, 7.3,
I like my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
8.4.
Yeah.
Well, see, that one was pretty much a line. They were nice to you to start with.
Oh,
That's great.
great. I like.
But you can literally do this entire problem on your calculator.
Yes, as long as you remember the steps.
Well. Yes, that is a true statement, as long as you remember the steps. I would say as you go through them, do the first couple with your steps in front of you. And then try to take your steps away and do it without them and see if you can do it.
I say we should be able to have our steps.
No. My Y values are 120, 130, 141, 156, and 167. All right. All right, first thing we're going to do, because I had an equation in my y equals, is I want to go clear that.
Oh, yeah.
So, because our equation from the last problem is there, so I'm going to hit the y equals button top left and then just hit clear and it'll be gone.
Ooh. Clear.
And then hit second quit, or second mode to get out of it. All right, so I need to create a list. So I'm going to hit stat, edit. Now, I have numbers here. I don't need to clear them. I can just type over top of them. That's fine. So I'm going to type them in and just hit enter.
Right there. You're on it.
The time where I would use the clear list option is like problem 20 that we're going to do has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 numbers. And then the next ones that you're going to do after that have like, you know, all the other ones have like 5 numbers. So you might want to clear it then. But I'll also show you before I type in my L2 here, if I was like, oh, I didn't clear my list and I've typed them in and I have a few extra numbers. If you just hit the delete button up here at the top, it'll just delete each number manually. So you can also do that. It's just in stats class the other day, we had a problem that had 44 numbers that they had to type in.
44.
Yeah. So like after doing that problem, if we went back to a problem that had 10 numbers in it, I would want to clear my list instead of having to manually delete 44 numbers, right? So I'm going to type in my other numbers real quick. All right. Is everybody here?
One of my numbers and it can't go away.
Go up, arrow up to it, and then hit the delete button. Not clear. Delete.
Oh no. I don't know what I did.
Wait, was I talking to you? Your threats are major. Was I talking?
I don't want to hit anything in that investor.
I'm good with phones, not calculators.
So anytime this comes up, hit go to, and it'll help you fix it. So
Because no, calculator.
120
So,
twice.
you have
Okay. Thanks.
there.
Oh, thanks.
All right, we're good here.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to walk us through the steps again. Technically speaking, I don't need to go recheck my scatter plot because it's already on. However, for the sake of us practicing, I'm going to do it. So second quit to get out of here. Then second y equals for our stat plot. Hit enter. We're just going to do a quick check. I've got my scatter plot option selected. X list is L1, Y list is L2. Like I said, that should stay set for you now. For me, it's going to go back and forth if you're borrowing a calculator, predominantly from Daniel. Potentially kids in pre-cal because we did a little bit with this, but you may have to check this. But otherwise, your calculator is going to stay set for you because it's the only thing you're using your calculator for this chapter. So you don't have to worry about it. All right, so then hit zoom. Option 9 is zoom stat, so you can just hit the number 9 on your calculator and it's automatically going to do it for you.
Stop. It's in a lot.
All right, so I'm going to graph this as it is on my calculator.
That's perfect. Yay.
If it's connected, then you did not delete your equation of your line in the previous problem. Hit y equals and then clear whatever's in y equals.
Dylan.
Now, if I ever end up off my graph like this and I'm like, oh no, I wasn't done with it, just hit the graph button and it'll take you back.
Oh.
Because you didn't clear Y1.
Oh, you're so excited to practice today, Sophia. I'm scared. Don't get mad at
Should we
me.
make her run a 646 on her first day?
No. She can run the 6. She's
All right.
She's behind, you know.
Dylan, did you get your line taken away?
No. Kids didn't want to go anywhere.
Good job, Bill.
It's because you have the wrong option selected. I need this one.
That
Need the first one. There you go.
You shouldn't have automatically.
That's so. Let me see. Clear. Oh, is yours charged? Hers is so like. it looks like a phone. It looks like I'd get a demerit if I just pulled this out.
There's games on your calculators too.
What? What?
You can install them from computer direct.
All right. I don't know why it's back to being yellow again.
You can put Minecraft on
That was impressive. I was just like, went away. All right. So I need to create my best fit line now for part B. So I'm going to hit stat. calc, arrow over to calc. LinReg is option 4, so you can either arrow down or just click the number 4 on your calculator and it will bring that up. Again, this should stay set for you except for your regression equation. That's the only part that you have to type in every time. So as long as you stick to L1 and L2, you're good. So I'm going to arrow down. To put my equation in Y1, I'm going to hit alpha, and then I'm going to hit trace, which is for, alpha is bringing up my F4 options, which is my Y equals options. So I'm going to hit Y1. If you're like, I don't like Y1, I like Y4, you can put it in Y4. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. Just, it's going to be where it's going to be. All right. And then calculate. So now I'm given an A value and a B value. Now notice this graph here is mostly linear, but there's kind of this one point over here that's kind of just like way out by itself. So that's why my correlation coefficient is 0.98 this time. It's not quite as strong. It's still strong, but it's not quite as strong. So it's a 0.98.
What's the R squared?
It's a different value that's used in stats. But, huh?
We don't need that.
No. You don't really need R or R squared right now. I just was turning it on so that it just wouldn't be an issue for you. And so that we could see, like, it's not always just, like, 0, 0.5, or 1, because
When we do the decimals, you want to start the whole...
no.
Okay.
So we're going to make a general rule. We're going to go to 1 decimal place
So,
for
4.
this stuff. Huh? Yeah.
4.
So my equation of my line is going to be y equals 17.4 x plus 22.8. Now, again, if I'm unsure if I've typed it correctly or accidentally clear it, whatever, I can hit y equals up here at the top, and it's going to write this out for me. Now, obviously, they're not rounding, so I'm going to have to arrow over, and it will show me the rest of my equation. Okay, but that's the way I can check it. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to plug in when x is 20. So y equals 17.4 times 20 plus 22.8. And then you just type that into your calculator.
It's also a lot simpler when you don't do every single step.
Yeah, it's not as bad when this is all that you have. So that's my y value and x is 20. All right, I'm going to save number 20 for tomorrow to do like a refresh on everything tomorrow. And I'll give you your problems tomorrow. We have like 10 minutes left, but I know I'm going to have to do another problem tomorrow. So we'll just start that way tomorrow, and that way we can walk through it, and then hopefully Julia will be back as well so that she's not thoroughly confused either. So anyways, if you don't have a calculator, at least borrow one from somebody tomorrow so that you'll have it.